Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is December 18th, 2019. I'm going to take a moment and go through piece by piece a video here that I think it's important for you guys to actually take a look at. Many of us have been following the Moorish American Consulate and the Moorish community, especially the online community that spreads financial scam and fraud on a regular basis by laying claims to supposed secret squirrel accounts and their claim that somehow their nationality takes them out of the United States federal court jurisdictions. That is absolutely not true, and of course the majority of us already know that. But one thing we don't get to see very often is a video like this. This is a court video. It was provided to me by Mr. Swindle Hoodwinked, which I want to thank for forwarding me this information. This was a court arraignment that was done December 2nd, 2019 with a member of the Moorish community. And that particular group of individuals that you see in the background on this picture is a group of Moors who have mobilized and decided to go into this particular arraignment hearing in order to disrupt, is really what this is all about. We don't get to see this very often live on video, or not live, but on video. As a result of that, I wanted to make sure that you guys actually had the ability to see that we are not just dealing with online personalities here. We are actually dealing with people who are attempting to go to court hearings and interject opinions and information that is inaccurate and disrupt hearings, disrupt trials, disrupt proceedings for these judges that are just basically attempting to try to do their job. They're misunderstanding that their nationality somehow means that the United States government, be it state or federal, has no jurisdiction over them is 100% inaccurate. And even with that being the case, they are still pushing their narrative. So I think it's important everybody has a chance to see this. I will be stopping intermittently to show you guys or to make comments with regards to this. This video is public. It is information that is available through the Freedom of Information Act, and it is something that can be FOIA'd by anyone out of Clark County. All right, so that being said, let's take a look.
It's docket Amir Hassan L.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, is your true and correct name Amir Hassan L?
Correct.
Is your last name spelled Hassan?
Correct.
And L spelled EL?
Correct.
Amir spelled AMIR?
Correct.
What is your true and correct date of birth?
Let me just stop this for a moment and make an announcement here with regards to the claim to the name. His particular name, unless it is done legally through court, which would be ridiculous for the Moors because, of course, they don't believe that the government has any jurisdiction over them in any way, shape, or form, be it state or federal government. They believe that they have their own government. But unless, the truth is, unless he has legally changed his name through the court system, technically he is committing perjury right here because we know his name is not L. Moving forward.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hassan L is making first appearance on charges of residential burglary, malicious mischief, third degree. I would advise.
Please proceed.
So I would advise the court, I was approached by two gentlemen in the hallway who were indicating on behalf of Mr. Hassan L that they are asserting a subject matter jurisdiction.
Okay, quickly, you guys, all of the people that are standing in the background there that you can see, with many of them with fezzes on, for example, and a couple with turbans on. You're going to see that those are the individuals who are attempting to try to disrupt the proceedings here with this arraignment. And they are insisting to be heard at specific times during the proceedings. So I want you to pay close attention to that. Now, remember, one of the reasons that I'm showing you guys this is because this is something we don't get to see very often. It is something that is happening throughout courtrooms across the nation. And this is very similar to when you actually heard about people that were being called vexatious litigants because they would try to gum up the court system with actual paperwork. Well, now with this group, it's being done in person, and you'll see how the judge handles this.
Challenge, we're here for first appearance.
Okay, I'm going to review probable cause. Probable cause was found over the weekend by Judge Fairgrieve. And so with that, sir, are you requesting court-appointed attorney at all? Do you want an attorney? Please. If you can please, if you want, you may. Do you want to talk to, she's a court-appointed attorney, not right now. You said you don't want an attorney. Sir, that's the third time. Please, if you, I need to engage in my proceedings here, and I'll ask you to please be quiet, and that's my first warning. Thank you very much.
Okay, so as you can see, he has warned the gentleman standing in the background in the fez that has already interrupted the court twice, and there is a court-appointed attorney there for this gentleman should he choose to use one. It appears, as always, he's choosing not to at this point. Hopefully he'll come to his senses and realize that being your own attorney in cases like this, particularly since this is a case having to do with robbery, it's probably best for him to have a court-appointed attorney so that there's someone who really knows the actual law that can assist him. But as we know, the majority of the time, just in the case of Sharon Tracy Gale, for example, and DeCorey Pitts, they generally choose to represent themselves pro se, whereby they find themselves in more trouble than they were to begin with. All right, so moving forward.
I appreciate the respect, sir. You're more than welcome to talk to this attorney if you wish. I will not appoint an attorney because you don't want one. If you do want one, I do have to engage in some discussion with you about whether you have the ability to pay for an attorney on your own or not, but it's your call.
No, I do not wish.
I have to engage in a discussion with you about an attorney. I won't do that now. I will do that at the next court hearing we have, which will be arraignment. When's our arraignment date, Leah?
Tuesday next week.
Okay. The 10th of December at 9 a.m. will be the arraignment date. That is the date of formal charging and notice thereof. The next question is release. So, state.
Your Honor, the defendant has no known criminal history. It looks like the risk assessment was recommending recognizance level supervision. That's the state.
Okay, so they're going to call this a win. As a matter of fact, this video I have found in a couple of different places. Once again, this is a public video. You can get it by using a FOIA in order to order it from the court. However, these people are actually placing it on their YouTube channels and Facebook in order to try to show that somehow this is some kind of a win because this gentleman was actually released on his own recognizances. That is not abnormal. He has no prior history. Now listen to what I just said, folks. This is a person who's gotten involved with the Moorish community and now is being tried or getting ready to be tried and potentially sentenced for robbery. However, prior to this, no known criminal history of any sort, which is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing they would do for anybody in this position, which is to release them on their own recognizances. There's absolutely no reason to assume he's going to be a flight risk when he has no criminal history whatsoever. That's not abnormal from any Joe Blow off the street that got accused of or was charged with this particular crime and had no criminal history in the background. That does not constitute a win of any sort. It's simply the way the process works.
Its recommendation is supervised release at recognizance level.
Okay. Sir, you'll be released today. I do have to ask you that you abide by conditions here. I'm going to read a couple of them to you, but you will be provided a copy. You must report to the Clark County Pretrial Services Unit. That's right across the street in the basement of what is the jail building. It's called the Clark County Law Enforcement Center. The next court date is December 10, 2019 at 9 a.m. No contact with the alleged victim. And Mr. McCarty, the name, please, of that alleged victim. I don't have it.
I know that I saw the name spelled in the probable cause affidavit.
Thank you very much. We'll do that.
What you're about to see, of course, is they are actually looking for the victim in this crime to ensure that that can be placed in the conditions area of his being released on personal recognizance. As, for example, in the Sharon Tracy Gale case, they request that she stay away from her previous address to avoid her potentially causing harassment over there. She did not listen. She was arrested again due to that, in a charge of trespassing. This particular person is now being given, or getting ready to be given, conditions on his release.
At 1:30 in the afternoon on December 10, 2019, sir.
What is that?
That's your arraignment date. I moved it to the afternoon, which is an out-of-custody docket, so then you don't have to wait for all the in-custody proceedings to occur.
So, per the police report, the name is Anthony Slavin, last name spelled S-L-A-V-E-N.
Thank you very much. No contact with Anthony Slavin. And so you're on the cognizance level, so you'll be receiving reminders for court, and so I'd ask that you provide your contact information to the supervised release unit so that they can get your reminders to you. Anything other than that is here in this order. And again, just abide by law and no contact with Mr. Slavin. And I've signed that. You'll get a copy here. I'm asking you to sign that, acknowledging those minimal reporting requirements, in particular, obeying all laws, no contact with Mr. Slavin, and reporting to court on the 10th. That is a condition of your release, that you sign acknowledging that. You'll be provided a copy immediately here in the court. Sir, you're going to...
Okay, now you're going to hear that he's getting ready to have to start removing people out of the courtroom because, of course, the people in the background are more concerned about being heard and delaying any process, just throwing in their 2 cents where they can in order to just incite disruption in the proceedings, and they believe that they're going to apply pressure through it's our nationality type of speech that will disrupt the proceedings here. So, and if you guys are wondering why I'm doing so much commentary on here, it is because these particular group of people like to put false copyright claims onto channels that show these type of things. And with my commentary in here, even though this is a public video, one that anybody can order and show, to avoid the possibility of that even being looked at with YouTube, I am providing commentary in between. All right, so here we go.
You're going to have to leave the courtroom, please. Thank you very much. That was your third, so thank you. And you want to take a minute to read that in the back, sir?
Yes, please.
Have a seat. You can have a look at it, and we'll call you back up here in about 5 minutes. I've removed one individual from the courtroom for disrupting the court proceedings. That was 3 interruptions. I gave him 1 warning. I think he counted wrong. In all fairness, he might have thought that was his second disruption. It was the 3rd. And so we need to continue the court proceedings. Okay, well, all right. Okay. I'll tell all y'all, please respect the court proceedings. I know you don't agree with them. You don't have to. I have a job to do here today, and I intend to do it, so I appreciate that very much.
So we understand that, sir, but our culture is a little bit different from the one you've established here. How do we have Mr. Hassanel agree to that without signing anything? We're just trying to express our concerns for not being heard, so we're just trying to let it work here.
I appreciate that. I do not have a place in this proceeding for the general public to be heard. I will not establish that one right now.
We're considered a part of our government, our government.
Yes.
And that is, we have which we have spoke to the prosecutor here, that there's a jurisdictional issue for the court that has to do with nationality and diversity of nationality. And I don't know if you have even been advised of that. So therefore, we're here to support and honor our ancestral rights and our ancestral culture to be able to talk to you. In fairness, because Governor Kate Brown in Oregon, and we filed paperwork here in the state of Washington that demonstrates who we are. So we're not trying to, so we're just trying to get clarification.
I think any intergovernmental relationships would not be held here.
Absolutely.
That would be some other venue.
That's it.
Okay, so as you hear, they're pushing the whole our government, our nationality, our ancestors thing. As you hear come out of the Moorish American consulate's mouth all the time, it does not matter. You could be from any other country, have any other government, and be here not even legally or just on a work visa or something of that sort. If you have committed a crime on the United States soil, they have jurisdiction over you in the county, in the state that you have been charged with the crime. So regardless, these people are really just, up a wrong tree, but it does not seem to matter as we hear about all the time, but we don't see it often, which is why I'm showing you this. This is what their claim is, okay? Clark County, Washington could care less in the courts that they're making these claims because, as the judge has stated here, that isn't even something that would be discussed in this courtroom. The charges were filed in Clark County. The court is in Clark County. Therefore, they have jurisdiction over hearing this case.
So,
What we're agreeing to, so that's what we're trying to make that known so that we can proceed to the proper venue. Because this is not a venue at which that for it to be held for us and for one of our family members.
when I receive an appropriate motion, then a written motion filed pursuant to court rules, then I can rule on anything relating to venue, jurisdiction, and the like. That's all I can say right now. I'm going to shut you all down at this point, and I want you to know this is not the time or the place for that. You can. I understand that. I understand that. I cannot meet with parties who are interested in this proceeding outside of court. That is called ex parte contact. That's a violation of my ethical duties.
Well, on behalf of our government, we will be filing documents to give clarification to you and this, of course, so therefore you can establish and understand and address the issue.
All right, I'm going to cut it off here. They're going to continue to argue that he needs to hear this. You can see right there the actual channel that this particular one is on. The channel will be linked in the description of this video so that you can go and take a look at it if you'd like to, or communicate with that party if you would like to. This was 15 Moors that occupied the courts in the claim that nationality somehow removes them from Clark County jurisdiction, and whereby this is not the venue that this man should be being arraigned from and even charged with the crime in. However, that is not the case. If the Supreme Court were to come down and explain this to the judge by a real legal motion, for example, then in that case he would take it into consideration as he stated. But since he has not gotten a motion to that effect, he's going to continue on doing his job. He's also not going to break the law in order to discuss with these individuals who have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this case, the case in any shape or form, due to the fact that that breaks his oath. So I just wanted for you guys to see the type of things that the Moors are putting up where they are claiming victory when in reality they've accomplished virtually nothing except for potentially to irritate this judge, to waste the taxpayers' time, and to put forth the fact that they are a group that needs to be looked at more closely by the courts. This could potentially actually create more of an irritation when this gentleman comes back into court, because these people have taken it upon themselves to make false and irrelevant claims. All right, everybody, I hope this was helpful in seeing what is happening in the courts across the nation due to this movement. It's much larger than most people realize, and it's something that we need to take notice of. There's nothing legal about what their claim is, and absolutely, you commit a crime in a county, in a particular county, in a state, that court has jurisdiction over you, no matter what your nationality is. Nationality does not matter in that case. If it was on an Indian reservation, then the reservation, who is recognized by the federal government, would have jurisdiction over court hearings in their tribunals. But this happened in a state, in a county that is part of this court's jurisdiction. So regardless of whatever the claims are, it isn't going to stop this proceeding. That does not constitute in any way, shape, or form a victory for the Moors. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.